How much money would you make in sales if you could get every one of your prospects to open up to you? That is what I'm going to reveal in this video, how to get every one of your prospects to open up to you. I made $100,000 per month in commissions by being able to do this. And I was able to do it because I know a way to get prospects to open up that you have probably never heard of before and definitely have never been taught before. So that's what we're going to break down in this video, because you already know if you can get every one of your prospects to open up to you, you can get to the truth, you can go deep enough into what's really going on, you will be able to sell everybody that is sellable. So let's dive in. I'm holding this book here, Transcending the Levels of Consciousness. It says the stairway to enlightenment. We could simply call that the stairway to bigger commissions. Why am I holding this book? Because in this book is the training that my underground mentor taught me on energy, spirituality, levels of consciousness, vibration, frequency, that allowed me to make a crazy amount of money in commissions. I say crazy because $100,000 per month in commissions is probably 5 to 10 times, maybe even 20 times what most high-ticket closers are making. If you do what most people are doing, you'll get the same result as most people. So let's flip the script and talk about what the opposite would be. Most high-ticket closers just focus on training. They focus on tactics. They focus on the external. And it is because of that that they're not able to get their prospects to open up. I'm going to break this down for you by reading out a short passage from this book. So it says, in the decades-long experience of such groups, and by groups it's referring to any type of group that is to help someone become a better version of themselves, only a member who has already accomplished what the other group members are looking to accomplish has the requisite authority that instills respect and therefore a therapeutic transference or identification. Let me break that down for you. Over decades of experience of all different types of groups across all different types of industries that are about helping someone become the better version of themselves, the only person that was able to lead that group of individuals and receive the authority and the respect in order to be able to lead that group to whatever goal, victory, accomplishment they wanted to accomplish was someone that had already done the work themselves. That was the person that was able, and it says through transference or identification, which simply means it's not just verbal, it's energetic. They're able to transfer that energy of, hey, I can guide you to where you want to go. I can lead you to where I want to go because I've already done it myself. It then goes on to say, owning one's own inner flaws, which is what someone has to do to go from where you're at to where you want to go, is admit your current faults, your flaws, your inadequacies. Owning one's own inner flaws allows for non-judgmental respect of others and opens the door to compassion. So what that means is that one of the reasons why the leader who has already accomplished what the other group members want to accomplish was able to lead the group members was because they had admitted at a time in the past the flaws and the faults in themselves in order to be able to ascend to the next level. And what that allowed them to do was work with the other members of the group that are trying to get to the next level from a position of non-judgmental respect. In other words, I am criticizing you for the things that you're not doing or the things that you are doing that are wrong, but it's not coming from a place of judgment because I used to be just like you. And therefore, that leader, that guide, that mentor is able to do that in a way that is compassionate to the other members of the group. So let's conclude all of this simply. If you want to be a salesperson or a high-ticket closer that is guiding your prospects to the truth, that is getting them to open up, you will only be able to do that energetically, not just verbally or tactics or skills or having the right word track, but energetically, you'll only be able to transfer that energy in a non-judgmental way and in a compassionate way, which is what you need to do to get someone to open up. They're not going to open up to you if you're judging them and you're not compassionate. If You have first done the work on yourself. This is a book on energy. The laws of the universe are based on energy, frequency, vibration, quantum physics. It doesn't get any more fundamental than this. We're not reading a sales book. We're not reading a communication book. We're not reading a psychology book. We're reading a book on how the fucking world works. By the way, you don't need to read this book. I'm going to give you what you do need to know just in this video. So don't go and buy the book and think you need to read the book. Simply all you need to know is the law works on energy, and energy is either high vibration or low vibration. If it's high vibration, that means good, peace, love, joy. If it's low vibration, it's bad, anger, judgment, apathy, pride is also pretty low down, shame and guilt, things like that. And people feel your energy. Let me be precise. Your prospects feel your energy. If you are someone that is transmitting the energy of, I've looked from a position of humility at my own flaws as a salesperson, and I've admitted them, and I've then gone through that admittance to do the work to get better, become a better version of myself personally, and become a better version of myself professionally, your prospects feel that. They feel it way deeper than the words on your script or the words that you memorized in your fucking word track. And therefore, they will feel that you're not judging them, because you can't judge someone if you're admitting that you were flawed just like them, and they will feel your compassion. Therefore, they will open up to you. Now, what's the opposite of this? The opposite is you don't admit to yourself that you are flawed, that you need to get better, that you're not where you want to be, that you're not good enough. And I don't mean that as a human being. You're loved and good enough as a human being, but as a person that is on a path to mastery, or what we would call self-actualization, you are not the highest version of yourself yet. In fact, you're probably pretty fucking low down. And therefore, if you admit that to yourself, your prospects feel it and they want to open up to you because they feel that you're not judging them and you're coming from a place of compassion. Let's go back to this section in this book. It specifically says, in the decades-long experience, only a member that's accomplished what the other members want to accomplish has the requisite authority. If you want your prospects to open up to you, they need to see you as an authority figure. And that's not see you on your Zoom call with a nice background as an authority figure, or because you've got a microphone, or because you've got a watch on. It's more clearly feel you are an authority, which is transferred on a much deeper level than vocal cords and a pretty picture in the backdrop. It's transferred on an energy level. People just feel it. People feel, wow, that person is an authority. And they will feel your authority and respect you, and therefore open up to you with the questions that you're asking if you've done the work yourself. This is why I was able to make $100,000 a month in commission, because my mentor taught me a principle that was self-actualization, or he taught me specifically how to sell using a methodology that was called self-actualized selling, which means it splits into two things: internal mastery and scriptless selling. Combine the internal mastery and scriptless selling, and you get self-actualized selling, which simply means becoming better at selling by becoming better at being the best version of yourself. Part of the best version of yourself is doing all of the internal work that's nothing to do with selling. How to have drive, how to have the right beliefs, how to have superhuman health, how to have the right routine and habits, how to develop your environment, all of those different things, which I've taught Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team, and I now teach members inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. My underground mentor taught me all of those internal mastery facets. Then you have scriptless selling, which is if you want to be self-actualized, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you learn communication, psychology, human behavior on a fundamental level, not memorizing canned lines or word tracks for objection handling or the entire fucking discovery process with a script. It's learning to have a real, authentic conversation. You combine those two things and you're on a journey that we call self-actualized selling. Now, going back to the point of how to get your prospects to open up to you, if you're actually on your journey of self-actualizing, which is simply a permanent journey of looking at yourself and saying, okay, I'm not where I need to be in this area. I'm not good enough in this area. I'm not working with a mentor. I'm not putting in massive action. I'm not in the right environment with the right other members around me who are all pushing to go to the next level. And you constantly look at yourself from an honest lens. If you're doing that to yourself and you hop on a sales call and you say, hey, what's really going on? What's the biggest challenge you're having? How does that make you feel? The prospect will open up to you because you're transferring the requisite authority because you are a member of the group, like it says in here, of the group of self-actualizing. In other words, becoming a higher ascended version of yourself. You are a member of the group yourself. And therefore you're guiding and telling your prospect, hey, I'm on the same side of the table as you, looking at my own flaws, opening up to myself about my own flaws. Therefore, I have the requisite authority to get you to do the same. Does this make sense? It doesn't matter how many word tracks you try and memorize, how many scripts you try and practice, how much tonality you try and train on. If you are not doing the real work yourself and you're not honestly a member of the club that you want your prospects to be a member of the club to, which is, hey, I've actually gone through my own ascending, my own transformation, your prospects will not open up to you. Now, let's get into why that's such a critical thing if you want to be a good salesperson. If your prospects don't open up to you, a number of problems, you are going to face a number of problems. Number one, if your prospects just ultimately never open up to you, you won't go deep enough to be able to close them. If you don't go deep enough into their situation, the feelings, the emotions, what's really going on, when you drop the price point, they're like, oh, fuck, that's way too much money for this. In other words, for the layer that we've gotten to, this price is too expensive. It's not worth it. Therefore, you don't close the deal. If you don't close the deal, you simply don't get the commission. And for you, that's probably 60, 70 or more % of your leads you are not generating a commission from. It's not because they're bad leads. It's not because they're not qualified. It's because you're not going deep enough, because you're not getting your prospects to open up enough, and you're not getting them to open up enough because you are not actually doing the work that will give you the requisite authority to be able to get your prospects to open up by transferring that energy to them of, hey, you open up to me because I'm doing the same to myself. Does that make sense? Number one, prospects don't open up, you don't close the deal, you don't get paid. Number two, if your prospects don't open up, you end up spending ages trying to get them to open up or twist their hands and force them at the end with objection handling, which is tiring, which quite frankly is for losers. You shouldn't be there trying to convince someone at the end of the call for 15 minutes. If you didn't convince them in discovery, you lost the deal, quite frankly. Nobody likes being objection handled, and good closers don't like doing objection handling either. They want to have a real conversation in the discovery and close the person in the discovery. Next problem that you'll face if you don't get your prospects to open up is you'll have to do a bunch of follow-up, which very rarely works. So all the time and effort you put into follow-up, aside from feeling like a desperate, needy little bitch, doesn't really generate you much money. Another thing that happens, if you don't get your prospects to open up, your calls will go very long, which means you burn out because your calls are going longer, you're having the conversation for longer, or simply you have to cancel or reschedule a bunch of your other calls very often, which reduces the volume of opportunity you have because you're now creating more friction by rescheduling or canceling calls, which means the number of active calls you take is a lot less. Another problem that you have is if you don't get your prospects to open up within the first, really should be 3 to 5 minutes, but if you're intermediate 5 to 10 minutes, then you spend so long during the discovery trying to get them to open up, trying to get them to open up, trying to pull blood out of a stone or push a boulder uphill, that every single one of your sales calls feels more tiring, which means you get burnout. You have a week of burnout, 2 weeks of burnout, a month of burnout. You make some results for 3 months, then you go off the rails for a month. And that inconsistency creates inconsistency in your income, and constantly burning out means instead of working for 4 weeks of the month, you're actually really only working for 2 to 3 because the other 1 to 2 weeks, you're burned out. So if your income is $10,000 a month, you think it's $10,000 a month, but you're actually only working for 2 weeks of the month, which means it's $5,000 a week. If you weren't getting burned out every 2 weeks by trying to get your prospects to open up, which you won't if you're not congruent or genuine or authentic, you would actually make $20,000, $5,000 a week, times by 4 weeks, 5, 10, 15, 20,000. Instead of making $10,000 a month, you'd make $20,000 a month without learning any word tracks, just simply by not burning out, by not having your prospects be so difficult to get them to open up. If you don't want your prospects to be difficult to open up, don't be the person that's difficult to open up to yourself about your own faults, about your own flaws, about your own inadequacies when it comes to being the best version of yourself. It is simply energetics. It's the law of the mirror. It's the law of vibration. Things vibrate at the same frequency. If you're someone that isn't putting in the massive amount of work that it takes to become the best, then you will not get prospects that are at the same frequency or vibration of wanting to put in the true, authentic work to become the best version of themselves. So, going back to this, where are we here? Only someone that has accomplished what the group members want to accomplish has the requisite authority that instills respect. So that's the next bit, is instills respect. So many times, closers post on Facebook or post online, oh, my prospects hung up the phone, or my prospects don't respect me, or my prospects are, saying, oh, you're just a salesperson, basically talking down on you as a salesperson. Well, they will talk down on you if all you are is a salesperson. What you actually need to become is someone that's on a journey of self-actualizing, becoming the best version of yourself. Maslow, who came up with this principle of self-actualizing, Abraham Maslow, said that beyond basic needs of survival and procreation and things like that, the highest version of yourself, the highest version of living, is to become the best version of yourself. There's nothing better in life, guys and gals, that you should be working towards than a personal development journey. And high-ticket sales is the best feedback loop, the best mechanism for you to go on a journey of self-actualization, because you literally see cause and effect of you putting in the work on yourself. If you invest in yourself, which closers do all the time to join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, and they say immediately their bad prospects, their difficult prospects, just became easier prospects. They're not even 24 hours into the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. They've just made the investment. They energetically made a commitment, and that changed their frequency, which means the frequency that they're putting out into the world is a different vibration. It's a higher vibration, a vibration of commitment and authenticity. Hey, I'm not where I want to be in life. I'm not making the money I want to make, not living the life I want to live. I'm letting my fucking prospects down. I'm not as good at sales as I need to be to truly provide an impact into the world, and I'm going to fucking do something about it. Then they do something about it. They make an investment. They join the mastermind, and boom, 24 hours later, they post inside the mastermind, I was in a 3-week slump, a 3-month slump, 6-month slump. And all of a sudden, I broke my slump. I hadn't closed for a week, hadn't closed for 2 weeks, hadn't had good close rate for 3 months. And then all of a sudden, they post in the mastermind, wow, I just closed 3 deals back to back. Can't be the fucking sales training, because they hadn't done any sales training yet. They just joined the mastermind and watched the intro video, made their intro post, and actually started going through the internal mastery introduction. And that's it. 24 hours, and yet they broke their slump. This is the power of energy. If you're trying to master sales by learning word tracks or sales gimmicks or skills, and you're not learning the energetic side of things, the deeper, I say deeper, the universal, the true essence of success and reality, you are leaving an insane amount of money on the table, and you don't even know how much it is, because you don't know what you don't know. If you did come on the inside of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, you saw all the fucking posts in the share wins section of closers that say, wow, all of a sudden I'm turning up to my calls, and the calls are going easier, they're going quicker, I'm having my prospects open up to me. That is simply because they changed who they are, which is your frequency and your vibration, which meant that they now had the requisite authority that instills respect. This is proven, guys, that in decades, it says decades-long experience of groups, only the member that has accomplished what the other members want to accomplish has the requisite authority that instills respect. In other words, you just simply won't get your prospects to open up to you if you have not done the work yourself. So instead of trying to memorize some canned line that you think is all of a sudden going to make your prospects open up, or the worst one, the tonality, the lost, the curious, the hand on the head tonality that you think is going to make your prospects open up to you. There is laws that are much deeper than tonality or body language or verbal, the words, which is the laws of energy. People feel you. People feel if you're real. They feel if you're a fake ass. They feel if you're authentic. They feel if you're full of shit. They feel either side of the spectrum. You want to be on this side of the spectrum, which is true, authentic, genuine, and instead of having hard calls that go longer, that end up in objection handling, that end up in follow-up, that end up in a no sale, and you not getting a commission and letting another human being down, if you don't want to be dealing with that, then actually become and show up as the person that will have the requisite authority and the respect because it's earned. It's not given. It's not given because you memorized a word track. It's earned because you look yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what? I am not where I want to be. I am flawed. I am inadequate. I am not the level that I need to be to accomplish the life of my dreams. And I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to do something about it right now. So that is how you get your prospects to open up to you at a level that is not being taught, because it's much harder to teach and it's much deeper, and a lot of people just want the cookie cutter, press the red button, quick fix. Doesn't work like that. If you want to follow in my path or in anybody else's path of success that has made a lot of money in sales, you have to actually put in massive action. You have to get mentorship, and you have to be around a community where the standards of excellence are risen, which means you look like you're down here because the standard and the success of the members is up here. And if you do those things, that is what's going to allow you to actually have your prospects open up. Nobody talks about this because, quite frankly, it's not very marketable. It's not an easy, hey, join my mastermind because you've actually got to put in work. It's like, no. But if you're a genuine human being and you're not afraid of hard work, and you actually realize that on the other side of the hard work is the life of your dreams, the money, the car, the house, the business class flights, the travel, the taking care of your parents, the retiring your parents, the watches, whatever it is you want, that is on the other side of transcending the levels of consciousness. The stairway to enlightenment, or the stairway to bigger commissions. If you want to actually be able to get your prospects to open up to you, then you have to put in the fucking work, which starts with looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, you know what? I am not where I want to be. If you're ready to join us on the inside of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind after realizing and accepting and being honest with yourself that you're not where you want to be, then I look forward to seeing your post inside the mastermind going, holy shit. All of a sudden, my prospects are easier. Yes, they will be easier because you changed your own frequency, you changed your own vibration, and therefore what you attract into your life is going to be at a higher plane of consciousness. If that is something you want to experience for yourself, there'll be a link below this video if you're ready to take action and join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, and I look forward to seeing you at a higher plane of consciousness. I'll see you soon.